Hey viewers, today I'll show you how to make and play my version of the Slender board game. You will need a wooden board or cardboard, and draw any size grid on it. Here I drew a 21 by 33 square grid, that's 693 squares. The scenario I will make will be set in a small village or town, so I'm gonna need to cut out some cardboard from cereal boxes to replicate the interior floor space of buildings and little houses. You'll also need playing pieces for each player and a Slenderman piece and 20 flat discs, which will be the landmarks, which only 8 of them will have writing, also known as the 8 pages. Before you play, you set the buildings and houses in any way you like, so each time you and your friends play you won't get bored of having to play the same layout over and over again. The landmarks with the 8 pages on them must be face down and shuffled up with the rest of them. Now spread the landmarks in random places almost evenly spread, but leave an isolated spot of squares for the players to start, so they won't land on a landmark on their first turn. Then select a fair spot where all players start, which is the place furthest from any landmark. Each player must stay together from the start. Note, you cannot share a square with someone else. Choose the dice you will be using. It's recommended that the more squares you have on the board, then the bigger number side of dice you use, and use a dice with less numbers for a grid with less squares. To start the first round, one person rolls the dice, and each player moves by that number. It's a rule that you can only move horizontal and vertical, and not diagonal. To find a page, you need to approach a landmark. In this example, Orange has 2 movement points because he rolled a 2. Since you're not allowed to move your piece on a landmark, you can stand straight next to it, and because the player Orange has 1 movement point remaining, he uses that to flip the landmark over without standing on it. And voila, you found one for the team, and take it. But if there is no page, then leave the landmark as it was before. Now it's Slender's turn. Anyone can take the responsibility in moving Slender. For it to move, you will need tokens with letters and numbers on them. Keep the letters separated from the numbers and keep them in 2 separate bags. At random, you will take 1 letter and 1 number and place Slender on that coordinate. Here it shows J9, and there he is. See where it's flashing? Because of his location, Slender is unable to capture anyone, but here is how he can. If anyone is in the horizontal, vertical, or diagonal path from Slender, they will be captured and eliminated. In this example, player Blue and player Orange are in the sight of Slender and therefore are eliminated, unless they have $20, which you can find on a landmark if you play the $20 mode. Slender can't see through landmarks and can't see through doors. It's assumed that when a player enters a building, they will always close the door behind them. However, Slender can see past the outside corners of buildings. In this case, player Gray is eliminated. Comment below for questions and further discussions. Thank you for watching and enjoy the game.